Yo, 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 Thought Warriors. What is up? Higher Learning is on. It is I, Van Lathan Jr.
And it's me, Rachel Lindsay.
Rachel, what kind of drink you're drinking right there? What kind of drink is that?
You know, okay, I have a confession to make.
What's the confession?
My name's Rachel Lindsay.
Uh-huh.
And I'm addicted to Red Bull.
It's not good.
I'm on a whole health, eating clean, and I really have been. Like, I've really been good since I came from this retreat. However, I've got some issues, and one of them is
You like Red Bull? You like Red Bull. It's got
Sugar-free, though. Sugar-free.
It's just like, it's make you all jittery, though. Look, we want to check back in with the first segment of last week's show, which is Trudy's Corner. It's been unanimous on Reddit that Pound Town guy is creepy. Reddit has spoken. Mr. Pound Town, they say that he's creepy. And I just want to let Mr. Pound Town know that if he's listening, you can still course correct. Okay? You don't have to be creepy Mr. Pound Town guy the entire time. You can still course correct. Okay? But you thought he was creepy, right?
100%. And I disagree with Van. I'd like to just move on.
He can go, I'm just letting him know.
If he does, great. Good for him. But, you know.
I'm just letting you know the consensus is you got a little bit too much dip on your chip there, Mr. Pound Town. All right.
Dip on the chip.
Now we're going to start with...
That's so gross. It just sounds so gross.
Too much.
I hate it.
Dip it on the chip. Dip it on the... What's your favorite dip? Have I ever asked you this?
No.
You haven't asked you. What's your favorite dip? What's Rachel's
Pico
go-to
de Gallo?
dip? No.
No? That doesn't count?
No. I don't
Why?
like that answer. No,
what? You asked me to answer. I answer truthfully, and you're going to tell me no.
No, that's like, I don't... No. Pico de Gallo. That's not... No,
why not?
Man.
It's a dip. I use it on chips. What is the problem? What's your favorite dip?
It's like, so you mean tell me with all the delectable dips out there, you dice up some vegetables, put it on a chip, and that's your whole thing? Oh,
I don't
Rachel.
say I make it myself.
What about a French onion?
No. So that's disgusting.
French onion dip is disgusting?
I have an issue with textures. You know, my pickiness is rooted in textures. So I can't handle the texture of most dips. So Pico de Gallo has like a different texture to it that I can handle. It's got a little bit of crunch. And I can deal with that.
Okay. Look, thread up on the Thought Warriors Reddit. What is a better dip? Pico de Gallo or French onion?
I don't want to participate. No.
It's done. We did it. We are the Thought Warriors Reddit. We are.
First of all, first question is Pico de Gallo a dip? Which I say yes. If so, is it better than French onion? You know why you want to say no? Because you know it's a better dip. You're mad you didn't think of it first.
My nigga.
Yeah.
In a million years, I would never choose. You're talking to a bona fide fat boy. In a million years, I would never choose Pico de Gallo over French onion dip. Like, there have been times when when the French onion dip is still plentiful, but the chips are down to their crumbs, I've been known to take a spoon, dip it into the bag of chips with the crumbs on the spoon, and then dip that into the French onion dip and eat it like that. I love a little French onion.
I need you to understand these thoughts have never crossed my mind.
Because you're not intuitive and you're not
because I don't like food. Remember, I eat food to survive, not for pleasure.
That's how I am right now, by the way. I'm logging on my meals and I'm doing all my things. I've lost an astounding 7 pounds this week.
That's amazing, Van. Good
Probably
job.
was a lot of water. Yeah, we're doing great.
All right, send you some Pico.
We have to talk about something I don't want it. The only Pico I know is the one that's right outside there, not too far from where I'm at. That's the only Pico I want to know. Pico. Take you all the way to the beach. Take you all the way downtown. Other than that, I have no use for Pico. Okay, we're going to start with something interesting right now. Now, here on Higher Learning, we don't normally get into trashing podcasts or podcast beef. It's not our cup of tea. We like to talk about relevant issues. But there is something that happened on a podcast that we've both been discussing that we simply cannot go without talking about here on Higher Learning. Okay, Rachel knows what I'm talking about. Rachel's watched it. You have to see the look on her face. It's very funny. All right, there's a podcast that goes on down there in Miami. It is called Fresh and Fit. The structure of the Fresh and Fit podcast is Fresh and Fit. They call themselves high value males, which is, of course, a term.
Oh my God. Oh, if you had told me that, I never would have pressed play. What the fuck?
They are high value males. Of course, that is a term that has been coined or made popular by Kevin Samuels, and the Fresh and Fit podcast deals with male female dynamics and things that go on down there in Miami. But they're part of the manosphere. There's all these podcasts out there right now with this really, really masculine, super energy. I wouldn't even say masculine, because the masculine energy is completely awesome and great. But they have this I'd say they're men, they're men and women and this and that. And that's what they're trying to do. Maybe toxic masculinity would be a better thing, but I don't want to brand them as toxic. That's what they're doing. And a lot of people like Fresh and Fit. Now, Fresh and Fit have talked about a lot of things. They talk about going out on yacht parties. They're talking about the fact that they don't want to be with one woman because they're high value men. All of these things they've talked about. But they've also decided recently, for whatever reason, or in the past at some point, that they were going to talk about Black women. Fresh is, I think Fresh is from Barbados, and Fit, I think, is part Sudanese. So these are both guys that we would consider here in America to be Black. Now, this all started initially when they had Asian Doll on the podcast. Did you see when they had Asian Doll on the podcast?
I did.
Fit kicked Asian Doll off of the podcast because he said that she was being disrespectful. He didn't actually kick her out. Let me make sure I know that. She left.
She left.
She left the podcast because she said that he was being too mean or whatever. Then a clip surfaced of Fresh and Fit, two Black dudes talking about why they don't date Black women, or not why, but the fact that they don't date Black women. This is that clip.
I mean, hey, bro, if you want to date a bunch of Shaniquas, go for it, man.
LaQuisha.
Yeah, like me and Fresh aren't really down with the brown like that. Man. We ain't night riders.
Nah,
so
bro, I'm good.
Sometimes if they're, red bone, but like in general, me and Fresh don't dabble in the dark, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Okay, so obviously that clip made its way to the Shade Room. It made its way to the Shade Room in light of the Asian Doll clip, because a lot of people thought that they were mean to Asian Doll. All right. So before we get into what we thought about both things, Fresh and Fit took it upon themselves to address the clip on a stream that they did earlier this week. This is basically what they had to say about Black women, about the fact that they do not date Black women, and about anybody who questions why that might be the case. Go ahead and roll that, Donnie.
When it comes to dating and your personal preferences, no one bats an eye. When women say, I want a man that's 6 feet tall, makes a certain amount of money, blah, 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 those are considered preferences. But if I say, hey, man, I don't date Black girls like that. Oh, God.
You hate Black women.
How dare you?
You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous.
My mom's Black. Your mom's Black.
Yeah.
My sister's Black. Like, bro, we just have a preference.
If we hated Black women, would we bring African American women and Black women on the show?
Okay, but
all the time.
The question.
Let me finish.
Okay.
We would not if we had an issue with them. Our dating preferences are our preferences. Just like you have the prerogative as a woman to date a man that makes a certain amount of money, a height, income, whatever it is, no one bats an eye. We are free to choose who we want to hook up with and date. Like, what the hell? Like, there's nothing wrong with having a preference.
Okay. Before I even jump in with any of my thoughts, I've been talking a lot, but Rachel, you are the resident Black lady. You and Trudy, I know Trudy got to say, you and Trudy of the podcast. What's your response to what Fresh and Fit said?
Well, I have a question first.
Sure.
In those clips that we saw, because I was unfamiliar with them, I was unfamiliar with their podcast. I don't know how popular it is, but when I watched the clips, there were women also sitting at the table.
Yes.
Black women, several.
Yes.
Are they a part of the podcast normally?
So I actually had talked to academics and actually had got a DM from Fresh about maybe going on their podcast, because what they talk about is like relationships and all of that stuff like that.
Tell him to come here, and I'm
It's
gonna tell you
fine.
why in a second.
And so, but yes, so what they typically do is there are two guests, and then there's a whole table. It's actually a really novel way to do content. A whole table full of people. There are two hosts and a whole table full of people. They talk, and then there's a conversation that goes on around the table. And yeah, a lot of the times there are Black ladies up there, but it's Miami, so it's a very multicultural, community. So you have Blacks, you have Latinos, you have Cuban ladies, you have Dominican ladies, you have all different types of ladies, but they're normally of a certain age range. And they're all sitting around talking about that type of stuff.
Okay, so that's nice if that's the concept of it, but I didn't grasp that when I watched those clips, because on multiple occasions, and there's another occasion where they're, that's when they're explaining why they said what they said about Black women. Fit hushes the Black woman, like, hush, I'm talking, and multiple occasions. So that's why I was trying to understand the setup of this show, because they don't invite conversation. They shush people, and it is very
He says
toxic.
only one. He just to let you know, he says only one person talks at a time. So even in that same clip, which I watched the entire thing, I watched their entire stream. When somebody else would try to cut that same girl off, he would say, "Stop, let her finish." So
Unless he was talking.
Well, what I'm saying is, listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying is, if she was talking, he would stop and say, "Let her finish talking." And then when he's talking, I'm not taking up for him. I'm just saying, if people watch the stream, his whole thing is, when one person's talking, don't interrupt. So when he shush her like that, that's what
I understand. I guess I just saw the guys talking over each other back and forth, but when a woman would step in, it was like, hush.
Yeah, okay, cool.
That's what I noted. Mm-hmm. So there was some extreme toxic masculinity going. And the reason why I said, don't go on their podcast, come over here, and I wanted to understand the setup of that show, is because I didn't watch the whole thing because I had enough watching the clip, that I wanted to hear from the women who they were offending at that table. I wanted them to hear, and it seemed like, and maybe it comes later on in the past. And in that clip,
she did get a chance to talk. He let her have a whole, yeah.
That's the clip that we need to see, because the way it looks like the Black women aren't even given a chance to speak on what they're saying. So I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so moving on. I hate that we have to talk about this subject. And people who are listening are probably like, oh, they're just they're ignorant. That's an ignorant line of thinking. That's just these two guys. No. The reason we have to talk about it is because it is that they don't stand alone when it comes to that line of thinking. There are a lot of Black men who think that way. There are a lot of Black men who say that very proudly and loudly. It's not just a one-off. I can remember in college where I would have Black men tell me to my face that they didn't date Black women. They wanted a woman who looked a certain way. And if she might be Black, she had to have European features, which is what they reference with, well, maybe I would do a red bone. It's so sad that they can't understand how damaging that is, because they're allowing a certain type of stereotype to perpetuate within our community and are okaying it. But it's also so damaging because they're trying to mask it under, oh, it's just a preference. Just like you might like somebody tall or with a certain eye color. But that's the difference. A preference is, oh, that's my taste, or maybe I have a tendency to like that. What they're doing is, it's an absolute. I absolutely don't date Black women. And then use derogatory language like, oh, all Black women have names like Shaquita. You dabble in the dark. It's disgusting, and they talk about it as if they're repulsed by Black women. That's not a preference you have to not date Black women. You are disgusted by them. And if I had been at the table, my immediate question would have been like, why?
That's what the girl asked.
Why are you so adamant?
Yeah.
To not, and what was their response as to why?
That they don't have to explain why.
And I'll tell you why they're afraid to say it. They don't like Black women. If they don't want
obvious.
to say it.
Yeah.
But they're masking it under, I have a preference just like you. What it really is self-hatred and a disgust of Black women. So if you do a social caste system, Black women are at the bottom, and they play into that thought by calling them Shaniquas and dabble in the dark and all of these like, they're disgusted by us. Mm-hmm. So they say that they don't have to explain because they don't want to face the truth. They don't want people to know the truth. They don't like Black women, period.
Right. Okay, yeah. I mean, everything that you said is true. I think there a couple of things jump out at me. Number one is this. So, to your point about this sister who asked them why, she asked them a couple of times why. She asked them both of them why, and they said they didn't have to explain it. That's bullshit. That's cap. That's cowering from the conversation. I'll tell you why it is.
Yep.
And this is directly to Fresh and Fit. Your whole podcast is the why. That's what any podcast is. An entire podcast is the why. You come on there and you say, I don't feel like I should have to be just with one woman. Well, then why? The answer is because I'm a high value man. And a high value man means this and this and that. Podcast, if a podcast wasn't about the why, then it would simply be people going around making statements. Hey, I think this. Wow. I think that. Wow. Really?
Right.
What you mean? The why is why people are watching it. Their podcast is full of whys, no matter what they're discussing, whether it's social, whether it's financial, whether it's relationships, whether it's whatever it is, you know what I mean? It's all about why. So to draw that line then is, to your point, them not wanting to say the quiet thing out loud. Okay, number two. I actually don't begrudge anyone who has a preference. I don't care about that. Like, I don't know why people have preferences. I don't know why preferences exist. That's actually not true. I absolutely know why preferences exist. I know that a beauty standard is pushed down people's throat. I know that the way Europe and the European imperialism has affected the world means that white means right. If you're not white, the closer you are to white, just the better off you are, the more attractive you are, the more whatever. And I understand that that is something that comes from centuries and centuries and centuries of programming. I get that. What I'm saying is, I don't want to legislate that with anyone, because that's almost a psychological level of piercing into them that to me isn't really worth my time. It's not worth my time for me to explain for me, because I don't think people want to hear it. It's not worth my time to explain to Fresh, who is from Barbados, who says the first time he had sex with a woman, she was a white woman, she was a tourist, and then forever he liked white women because of that. There's a reason why white women are tourists in the country that he lives in. See what I'm saying? It's a reason why they come to the country that you live in for fun. And a reason why the economy of the country that you live in, that you come from, is based upon how many white people show up there every single year. There's a reason why all of that stuff works. There's a reason why all of these beautiful places in the Caribbean or in Africa or wherever is a reason why all of those places with all of these resources are still poor. There's a reason why. All of this stuff comes from the same reason. That's probably a conversation that is a lot, maybe even too deep. Maybe people don't want to have the conversation. I'm not trying to force that on people who don't want to have it. This is what I'm saying. Fuck all of that. Fuck it. Fuck why. Even fuck the why. The why for me, I don't care about. I couldn't care less whether or not these guys want to date black women. I really don't care. You know what I mean? I have to care about whether or not my nephews want to date black women. I have to care about whether my homies want to date black women. I have to make sure that the guys around me that I can still influence, that they can properly appreciate sisters and give sisters and make great homes with them, and do the things that they have to do. I have to care about them. I can't care about grown men who are out here feeling or however they feel. I'm not going to fight that battle. This is what I will say. You attacked black women. So there's a difference. And let's be fair and honest about this. Let's be men. Forget about the high value part. Let's be men. You attacked black women. You called my mama Shanika. You called my sister Shanika. You called my podcast co-host Shanika. Fresh and Fit owe black women an apology. They owe black women an apology because what was said, whereas it would have been taken, they would have been offended no matter what. If you go on your podcast and you say, I don't date black women, it would have been offensive no matter what. The way that they said it, the fact that they announced it so loudly, the fact that they threw it out there like it was a stat, like it was something to be proud of.
Yep.
That specifically denigrates a group of people that I am irrationally protective of, needs to be reconciled. It does. They also said on the podcast that they make fun of all kinds of groups. Hey, we make fun of everybody. But all of a sudden, when we make fun of black women, now y'all want to get up in arms? Yeah. And let me tell you why. The protection of black women and black people has to be irrational and OD because the attacks of black women and black people are irrational and OD. Mm-hmm. See, we have to be irrational. We have to be emotional. We have to be aggressive. We have to be completely laser focused on protecting ourselves because the attacks are just like that. It's irrational and like overzealous and OD to have mamies and have blackface and have minstrel shows and have black women portrayed as hypersexualized or loud or crass. All of that's OD. See, all of that's too much. All of that's over aggressive. So yeah, I'm extra sensitive. And a lot of people, black, white, all over the place, they're extra sensitive about that. So the reality is no, you can't live like that. You can't live taking shots at black women. If we're talking about a protected class, I definitely feel like that sisters have to be a protected class because they've been overly assailed. And it's not me. It's not me waxing poetic. It's not me going crazy. It's not me doing the same Van thing where I lose myself. They wrong. Period.
Yeah.
And so for me personally, I don't give a fuck. It's for somebody else to have a discussion about Fresh and Fit, about the centuries and centuries of programming that have led to them looking at the women. Fitz said that his mom has asked him why he doesn't bring a Sudanese girl. Fred said that their mother has asked them why he doesn't date a woman. I think he's from Barbados. Why they don't bring these women home. They've asked him that. Their mothers have asked him that. The reason why your mom has asked you that is because you not dating women that look like her, you're hurting her. She wonders why she's not good enough for you. She wonders what she did wrong to bring someone into the world who cannot find beauty in how she looks. Now, the reason is that you don't have to, but you do have to show respect. You don't have to date black women. You don't have to like black women. You don't have to be around black women. But fam, I'm going to need you to respect black women. And what you said and what you did was irrespectful.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's and this is where I would disagree with you is the why is so important because these two individuals have a microphone. And because of what I said earlier, they're not alone in their thinking. And for some people who are listening to this on the surface, they may say, hey, what they're saying, they have a point. Like they have black women in the room. So clearly they don't hate black women. They have black friends. They have black mothers. I get what they're saying. I have preferences too. The reason you have to understand the why is because you have to pierce through that. You have to understand that having them in the room doesn't mean that you respect them, you value them, or that you desire them. Having them sit at the table for you, like that's the thing with black women. Just because they're, or the way they feel about black women, just because they're sitting next to you doesn't mean that you have any respect for them. Watch the way that they treated Asian doll in that room. Like it was 100% disrespectful. And so I think that for people who are listening to this, who on the surface are like, they have a point. They have to understand why they make the comments they do, why they are so nasty to black women, how deeply rooted it is. And I think that's the deeper discussion that needs to be had on that podcast. That's why I said, no, don't come over there, come over here, because it's a bigger conversation that it doesn't just need to live on their podcast. Other people need to hear this as well.
I mean, we could have it. My thing is this, we could have it on the podcast, but I don't think it does much use to have it with them. And, like it just because all you're going to get from them is defensiveness and all of that. Like to have a conversation about the perversion of the European beauty standard and why it's so pervasive, not just here in America, but really everywhere you go. Colorism exists everywhere. Racism exists everywhere in the beauty standard everywhere. It's definitely a deep conversation. To bring a couple of guys on who have talked about why they don't like black. I'm not dealing with that type of energy. I don't fucking care.
But they're not alone. Is what I'm trying to say.
What I'm saying is we can have I understand that they're not alone. But what I'm saying is we can have that conversation without them. All that's going to do is run my blood pressure up. We can have we can have that conversation about that feeling and about where that comes from, we can have that conversation without them. But, and maybe it's different, and maybe this is a black man, black woman thing. I don't give a fuck who they decide that they want. I already know why.
It's not them in particular. They're just the face of a whole school of thought that has made black women feel less than for years.
I know, but the whole them. I don't care. Like the entire them. By the way, most black men, overwhelmingly, most black men are into black women. So
Correct. They might not as strongly say I don't date, I refuse to date black women. And Trudy can hop in on here. I am telling you, there are a lot of black men who will tell you, I like somebody who has a certain skin complexion, has a certain type of hair texture. Like I don't just want a black woman. I'm telling you. Oh no, I completely
and I think
you can love black women, but then also hold black women to European standards. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just so deeply rooted.
That's I'm from Louisiana. So like,
correct.
You know what I mean? So I certainly know about, it was times growing up where I wasn't light skinned enough. It's definitely different for men, but there's times in like where I wasn't light skinned enough. My sister, who is light, bright, can see her veins in her arms. Damn, she is uncomfortably light skinned. Ebony, if you can hear this right now, get some sun, baby. Go out in the backyard. Get a little sun. You're light skinned. People will be like, damn, that's your sister? And like, man, you could be cute if you were light skinned with some green eyes or something like that. Like, get out of here. This big ass nose. You're gonna like this big ass nose. But no, I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is, to your point, you're right. And all of that stuff needs to be explored. It has to be explored. But fair or unfair, I'm asking for black men to have decorum when speaking about black women, at the least. I understand whatever. I'm asking you, because of the situations that we are in, I'm asking for some decorum. I don't give a fuck how you talk to other people and with the jokes you play and the games you play. I don't give a fuck how you talk and joke with your Latino friends. It was a girl on the podcast talking about she loved to say the N-word. These niggas didn't say shit. I don't give a fuck how you play with them. I don't care. But I am asking, and I don't think it's irrational to ask. And even if it is irrational to ask, I don't give a fuck, for some decorum and some respect to be maintained when you're speaking and talking to black women. And I think that's a cultural edict that look, if there was a woman in there that was 50, 60 years old and they talking to her crazy, I'm gonna be like, yo, respect your elders, because they deserve that. When it comes to like sisters, even more than that, bro, come on, man, get right. Get a little tighten up on your shit, bro. Tighten the fuck up. Talk about some Shanika, nigga. Fuck wrong with you? All right, let's bring Reason in. All right, you guys, we promised you this. We wanted to talk some hip hop. We wanted to talk some shit going on in LA. And we have, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro, one of the best rappers in the world, man.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for that. I'm
gonna keep it gangster, man. Shout out to everyone, best rappers in the world. The homie Reason representing TDE. I see he's got the platinum album in the background.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Didn't plan that. Now I feel like one of them dudes is like, you know what I mean?
Don't. It is what it is. Be proud.
But yeah, what's
I'm gonna go get my Oscar and put it in the background, nigga. Sure. You stunting on niggas. Look, so we want to talk about a lot of things with you. We also want to talk about the little back and forth that happened in the comments on Instagram.
Yeah, man, it was coming from me.
Wait, what back and forth on your post, Van?
Oh man, I be responding to Van like he just one of the homies, forgetting that like he got all these followers. Me, like, you know what I mean? Like, but this is how I talk with my homies, so I'm just responding, and then I had to kind of like defend myself a little bit.
So before we get into that and kind of the fresh and fit stuff, because we just talked about it a little bit before, let's talk about what's popping in LA. Now, you are from here, are you not?
Yeah, I'm from there. Yeah.
So you are from LA, so you are well aware of what goes on in LA streets,
for sure,
what happens with LA rap, and like sort of the climate as it has ebbed and flowed over the years.
Yeah.
How do you feel right now? You're a rapper, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you're a rapper. Is it safe to be a fucking LA rapper right now, man? It seems like the streets is on fire out there for folks.
To be honest with you, I'm not even gonna box it into rapper. It's just kind of not safe to be in LA right now. Like LA is really like, it's like LA has always had its moments where, you know, we've gone through this thing called 100 Days, 100 Nights. That's been a thing before. And it's been like a gang initiation thing, or it might be like a gang retaliation thing where they try to kill like one person every single day. So we've gone through different things in LA at different times, but this is the first time that we kind of like went through 3 or 4 things at once. You know what I mean? Like we went through 100 Nights. We went through, you know, just the whole EDD, PPP thing not being a thing anymore. So a lot of people are outside trying to figure out other ways to get it. And then mixed into that, like a couple of gang beefs, and then mixed into that, a couple of rap beefs. So I just think that like in this last like 3 months, it's just been crazy. Like it's been like, I've never seen LA like this before, honestly. I have
Never.
Literally, I have never in my life seen LA as bad as it's been the last 2.5, 3 months. It's to a point, literally, I was just talking to my boy. We were trying to find something to do for New Year's Eve. Legitimately, I'm not even exaggerating. I called about 40 people. Nobody was doing anything. Everybody was, nobody was going outside. Nobody was going anywhere because it's scary right now. You know what I mean? And so everybody is just like, you know, just like, we'll just stay in the house. It is what it is. So yeah. Yeah,
You know what's why? You know, I'm new to LA.
Yeah.
You know, it's what I feel like we were hearing a lot about crime and different things that were happening. And now I feel like I'm not hearing about it as much, or I just don't know if that's me being desensitized to how much we were hearing about it, which is terrible. How much we've been seeing about it on social media or hearing about it on the news. But on this podcast, we talked a lot about what's been happening in the hip hop community and with the senseless killing that we're seeing, not just in LA, but just across the country.
Yeah.
And I guess my question for you is, we've seen it happen before in like Dallas is like, it's big in Dallas. I'm from Dallas. Is it worse than you've ever seen it before? The state of hip hop when it comes to these senseless killings, it just seems like it's scary to just step out.
Yeah.
Is it worse than it's ever been?
Honestly, in my opinion, and you know, I wasn't like I was alive in the 90s, but I wasn't, you know what I mean? I wasn't older, you know, to be able to like, you know, really live into it. But from what I can experience, yeah, this has been like the worst that has been, you know, rest in peace to Slim 400, rest in peace to the Ruler. I haven't seen it like this before. You know what I mean? Like it's to a point to where, you know, I don't even understand the point of beefing, because, you know, hip hop beefs has always been either one or two ways. It's always been too far or it's been fun for the culture. You know, you go back and forth on records, something that, you know, is part of the culture.
Yeah.
You can't even like typically that line of trying to do something for the culture and having a moment anymore, because everybody is handling their issues in different ways. You know what I mean? And so I personally I can't remember it being like that. You know, where we just had the killing of Dolph, rest in peace to him. It's like, I haven't seen it this frequent, you know what I mean, like ever in my time span. Now, maybe, you know, it happened in the 90s during the Pac and the Biggie stuff, but I don't remember that. You know what I mean? I didn't live through that like that.
So you're on TDE.
Yeah.
And shout out to Top, me and Top.
Always.
Let me tell you, say something real quick about Top. It's a lot of people that you meet in the industry that's cool, that you cool with, you pour up with when you see him. It's a couple of people that have actually looked out for you.
Yeah, I knew you was about to say that. Yeah, Top is like, yeah, keep going.
Like there's a couple people who have actually like helped you in your career, like looked out for you, delivered stuff for you when you didn't even ask them for it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? When you didn't even ask them for nothing, and that's Top. So shout out to Top, who is the CEO and the big man over there at TDE. So just to give him his flowers there real quick. Now, TDE to me is a very interesting record label because y'all comment on everything that's going on in the culture, right? And you got people representing all different types of sets. You got people representing different areas, everybody getting along. But the music doesn't seem at all, it's not at all exploitive of violence, exploitive of the gang banging. It's all in there, but it's not the main thing with not one artist. And you got guys from all over the city. I'm getting old, Reason. I'm getting old, 41. I have said on this podcast before that I feel like the music itself, we need to have a healthy conversation about how much of the music is just straight up glorifying, killing, like we in the fucking Grand Theft Auto game.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm like the old man in my yard with the hose, everybody screaming at me. You're a rapper. You need to be able to create and talk about whatever it is without anybody encumbering you creatively.
Yeah.
How far do you think the content of the music goes into kind of some of the stuff we're seeing now? And is it time that we have a real conversation about it?
I think that the content, I'm not one of the people that feel like that content influences the things that happen. But what I do think is that the content makes people have to stand on who they are in the music, if that makes sense. So I personally think things go farther sometimes because it might be like, let's say that that's what I rap about. And then I get into it with, another rapper. If I want to handle it peacefully and just have a conversation, I can't be that guy because on this song, I didn't kill 40 people. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, so
Word.
Like I was in a clubhouse room just random, and I saw.
You gotta stay off that shit.
I know. That's why I literally deleted the shit off my phone. But it was when Wack and 21 was getting into it. You get what I'm saying? And don't want to speak on the whole situation, but I did see afterwards because 21 was just trying to be like, bro, like I'm not about to mess with the money. I'm out of here, basically. You know what I'm saying? But you see people on Twitter like, oh, 21's supposed to be a gangster, this and that. That's what I feel like the content. If 21 was less mature, he might have felt like I gotta stand on this now. So now me and Wack gotta have a real issue. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
because of the content of which he might be rapping about or whatever the case may be. So I don't think it's necessarily the content. I just think that it's more ego and pride that goes into it, where you got to stand on who you are, similar to being the rich guy that's rapping and then you in the strip club and they expect you to throw 20 bands. It's the same thing, in my opinion.
So let me follow up real quick then. So who is, because they actually, to their credit, they were able to get that squash, right?
Yeah.
Wack and 21, they were able to get that squash.
Yeah.
But a lot of times the shit that we seeing on Clubhouse and the shit that we see in all of these records is not getting squashed.
That's real.
It's guys that still like, yo, when I run across you, I'm going to see you and all of this stuff. And then they end up running across each other and they see each other. So then whose job would it be? Because we all got OGs, right? No matter what it is that we doing, we got OGs. Yeah. Whose job is it then to quiet some of this shit down when it gets started up from that?
Yeah, I think you said it. I think it is the OG, similar to the Jay Prince situation with Drake and Kanye. You know what I mean? I just think that, the OGs of the industry that we in, you know what I mean? Maybe need to be more active, especially if they have relationships, you know what I mean, with these people. It just needs to be more conversation. Like I look at it, bro, is that this ain't no, to me, in my opinion, nothing in the industry is real beef. Anybody I've had a real issue with, thankfully it hasn't been many. It ain't had nothing to do with rap. You get what I'm saying? Like, and that's for anybody I know. So to me, it's like, if it just comes from disrespect and words being thrown back and forth, I don't ever see why niggas can't have a conversation. You know what I mean? And I think that that's something that OGs need to be pushing. As far as TDE goes, I just think that the reason why we don't speak on none of that is because a lot of us really lived it, and it's like it's not
not
cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not cool. Like Q said this in a Twitch. He was like it was either a Twitch or it might have been us just chopping it like at the studio or something like that. But he was like losers go to jail. Like, I feel like a loser if I'm in jail. You get what I'm saying? He didn't mean it like everybody in jail is a loser. What he meant to by it is, if I got all this money and I'm risking my freedom, I lost. Why am I taking a chance to lose? You get what I'm saying? If I have all this money and all this stuff going for myself, he was like, I'm not going to jail for nobody. You feel me? And so I just think that has to be more of the mindset that the OGs is like pouring into the culture, in my opinion. Yeah. So
do you think something needs to change in the message and in the content? And if so, what would that change be?
It's hard for me to say it needs to change because, like, I'm an artist and I feel like every artist should be able to, you know what I mean, speak and talk about what they want to talk about, you know what I mean, whatever. Because some of these people, like, they really come from that. And some of them, like, they still in that, unfortunately, you know what I mean? Like, they don't know how to make that break, once they start making money. It's still kids at the end of the day, you know what I mean? And so in a perfect world, would it be great if everybody was sending a positive message? Yes. But then at the same time, we would lose some of what the culture is in hip hop, which is, this is where we come from. You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily think it needs to be a change in the content. Like I said, it just needs to be a change in the culture as far as like what we're trying to do, the end goal at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, my opinion, I look at it as you get into the music business for two reasons. You either love music and want to make the greatest music of all time, or that you can make, or you get in it to get your bread and hit a lick. It's one of the two. You know what I mean? So if it's bread and to hit a lick, then just get your money and get out the way, in my opinion, and nothing should be in the middle of that. You know what I mean? And if it's the music, then just make your music and, you know, stand on the greatest music that you can possibly give the world. I think it's just more of the ideas and the OGs and the mindsets of artists. That's why I love artists like Drake. He shows love to literally everybody. You know what I mean? Like, and from what I've seen, I love the fact that, you know, I love when two artists at the top of the game can get along without jealousy and, you know, all these other things. I just think that needs to be pushed more instead of anything else. And a lot of it comes down to fans. Like, fans, everybody wants to see a fight until the fight goes too far.
That's word.
That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody even if you at a club and you see two people fighting, y'all gonna watch until
somebody start getting stomped out.
You know what I'm saying? Or until somebody pull out a gun, or until somebody hit your head and start bleeding. Then it's like, oh damn, they shouldn't have been fighting. But it's like, you got 100 people with cameras out. You get what I'm saying? Like, so I think everybody got to kind of take a little bit of responsibility in what's going on. Like, it's the artists, it's the media, it's the fans. I think it's a little bit of everybody.
Yeah. I'm gonna come back to hip hop in 1 second because I want to talk about Reason the Rapper, but I'm gonna ask you about the reply on social media. So I put the thing up about the guys saying Fresh and Fit talking about, you know, they don't want to date black women, and so I put it up there, and I said, hey, I don't like when people loudly announce that they don't want to date black women. And I think it's one of the most anti-black things you could do. I'm paraphrasing. And Reason came back, and Reason was like, I agree, kinda.
Reason.
He's like, everybody should be able to speak on their preference. I was like, yo, man, does Reason know it's about to happen to him? Look, I understood. I get what he was saying. He's like, everybody should be able to speak on their preference and stuff. But I'll read it right here. It says, let me get to it real quick. I mostly agree. I think everyone should be able to speak on what their preference is, but I do agree that the devaluing, degrading, of et cetera of black women is extremely anti-black and the corniest shit a man can do, referring to the clip going around. Here's the thing. Reason, you just agree with me. Why did you jump into the front?
It's hilarious. Here's the thing, man, and I always say this. I feel like I'm the most misunderstood nigga on TV, and this is why. How I talk with my homies. Like, you gotta understand, I got into the industry when I was older. I got into the industry when I was 25. You get what I'm saying? So I wasn't in it like that. So I talk to media, I talk to anybody like they the homies. You get what I'm saying? Right. So me, when I'm reading it, I'm not thinking about platforms. I'm not thinking about none of that. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I don't date white women. And I don't want nobody telling me I can't say that out loud. That's what I'm thinking about. You get what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know, I'm like, so you know me, I can't say I don't date white women out loud because I can say it and I'm gonna stand on that. So I don't think nobody should be able to, like, this is how I think. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so would I ever degrade or put down a white woman? No, I wouldn't. You get what I'm saying? But if I want to say on any public platform that I don't date white women, I'm going to say I don't date white women. So I'm very big on keeping the same energy, but I feel like what they did was corny because you're attacking your own people and probably the most oppressed group of people that, you know what I mean, like, are in America, period. So I just thought it was corny that you went out your way. Like, I just feel like there was other ways. If you don't date black women, I personally feel like if asked or if it is brought up in a conversation, you can say, I'd prefer to date white women. Maybe you grew up around all white women. Maybe you're not comfortable with talking to black women. Maybe you've gotten rejected by a bunch of black women, because that's what I think it is when black men don't date black women. Maybe you've been rejected a lot and this is where you win at. You get what I'm saying? Whatever it is, I think you can respectfully say that without all the LaQuishas and Night Ride, all the stupid shit that they said. I thought that was corny and I thought it was super anti-black, but I do have to remember that we're on social media. And the moment I say mostly agree.
He was on his ass. It was so funny. I was like, yo.
You saw my reaction.
My sister hit me. My sister hit me. Was like, I love Reason. I can't believe. I'm like, did you read what he said? He essentially said the same shit.
It was
right.
As soon as it said mostly agree, it was up. You get what I'm saying? I was like, let me respond. Usually I don't respond, but I'm like, let me respond a little bit. That way anybody that comes in, they can at least have a transcript to kind of read and whatnot. But it was more on that. Like, I'm just very big on freedom of speech as long as it's respect. And like I said, for me, it was more of, this is how I talk with my homies. If my homies say, you shouldn't be able to say that out loud, I'm like, well, nah, I don't date white women, and I'm always say that out loud. So you're not going to be able to tell me what I can't say, and I'm not going to tell somebody else what they can't say, just as long as it's respect in the room. That's my personal opinion. So, yeah.
I'm so glad you could clear that up. Now, I did not see the comment, but you saw my reaction when I saw. But I'm also glad you just made that point too about, I think there is a difference in saying you don't date your own versus you saying, I don't date white women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, I think that people would use that as an excuse because, they were on there talking about, well, you say you date, you don't date tall people or you don't date people with this color eyes. But if you attack your own, that's a completely different thing than just saying, I'm not into white women or I'm not into this or whatever it may be. Circling back to something you said you like what Drake is doing.
Yeah.
Who currently in hip hop right now are you feeling? Other than Drake, because you already threw that one.
Yeah, I like that. Just from that standpoint, not necessarily like the quality of music, but which I think this person has very high quality music. But Cole is doing something similar to that, working with a bunch of other people. I like that. Lil Yachty has been doing that for like the past 2 years or something like that. I just like when people show love and collaborate, and it doesn't have to be all the politics and who has what following. Like Yachty is doing records with dudes that got 40,000 Instagram followers. You get what I'm saying? Because he met them and he liked their music. You know what I mean? Like, I think stuff like that is dope. Because now we take the business out of the music. And I think that when you take the business out of the music, you get the best product, in my opinion. When it stops being about what makes the most sense profit-wise and it goes to what just makes the most sense music-wise, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that's when we get the best music, the best product. That's when people are having the most fun. That's when we're discovering the best artists, because we might have not even known about this dude if this dude didn't do a record with him, you know what I mean? So it's a few dudes that's doing that. But yeah, those two specifically are like the first two that come to mind.
So I'm going to ask you two questions. Number one, are you competitive in rap?
For sure. I'm very competitive. Yeah.
You're competitive in rap. Like you listen.
Best rapper on TDE. Like, that's how competitive I am. That's how I feel.
You feel like you're the best rapper on TDE?
I'm the best rapper on TDE. That's how I feel.
Do y'all talk about that on TDE? Do you, Absol, Kendrick?
Not necessarily, but it's like an unspoken thing. Like you know how niggas feel because of how they react. Like, so for instance, like when I sent Flick It Up to Absol, like he got busy on Flick It Up. And he come on, like wait a minute, Reason. He got busy. Stupid. And so he sent me the verse. But this is how you know when niggas are competitive. So don't really call or nothing. Like, he sent me the verse and then gave me like 4 minutes and then called me and was like, did you listen to the verse? Don't call me and ask me if I listened to, like, nigga, I listened to the verse. Like, don't do that. It's nothing like, I'm just trying to get a song done and you come over here doing all that. Like, you're doing too much. You feel me? Like,
right.
It's little stuff like that like you can kind of tell, you know what I mean? Like, we're all competitive in our own like little separate way and whatnot.
So then you feel like you're the best rapper on TDE.
For sure.
Do you don't say that it's all now just so people know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna diss any other record labels.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if you're saying that you're the best rapper on TDE, you're basically saying
in a very like, it's a very small list pretty much after that. Like,
exactly. You basically, if you say you're the best rapper on TDE, I could take it as you saying you're the best rapper on the West Coast. You're the best rapper maybe in the world.
Yeah.
And you that confident, you're that competitive. You feel like bar for bar, nobody's fucking with Reason.
I feel like bar for bar, the only rappers that I would say that I wouldn't just say I'm hands down just better than, hands down, is probably Hov and Wayne. Those are the only two that I wouldn't just say that I'm better than. But there are other rappers that I will say are better artists than me. And I'm trying to like grow in my artistry. I'm trying to make better music, write better hooks. You get what I'm saying? Like, but if we just all lined up and rapped, the only two I would feel like I don't know if I can out rap them is Jay-Z and Ho. Those are the only two.
Really?
That's how I truly feel. Like, and
Andre,
And you should. And you should.
Andre 3000.
Andre 3000. Like I gotta love it. Let me say this, and I told you I'm very honest. I say things I probably shouldn't say in the public. I'm gonna say it anyway. I know.
Right.
I gotta see more from Andre. Like I feel like it's very, and I'm not saying what Andre does is easy, but I feel like when you come outside once every 4 years and you give us the greatest verse we've heard in the last 4 years, I can do that. That's how I feel. That's not saying it's easy. It's just saying that I feel like I can also do that. You get what I'm saying? Like, and so, like, I have Andre in my top 10, but I don't have him as high as most people have him. You get what I'm saying? Like, I have guys like Hov and Wayne because of how much they've given us. You know what I mean? Like, I have guys like, Lupe Fiasco, Fabulous. Like, these are dudes that are in my top because they've been rapping at a high level for so long. Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, you get what I'm saying?
So
like,
just so we're sure.
Yeah.
Love Lupe to death. Lupe might be my favorite rapper.
Lupe actually, I'm gonna put in that 3 also. Lupe might be able to out rap me if we just lined up and rap too. Lupe's crazy.
Lupe might be my favorite rapper. Lupe has made raps that I was at a time in my life, I was like, I don't care what y'all niggas say, this nigga's the best nigga.
I was on that same wave for a good 3.5, 4 years for sure. So yeah.
Right, but just so you know. Oh, go ahead, Rach. I'm sorry.
Well, no. Finish your thought. Go ahead.
Just so you know, it's a lot of guys out there to be rapping. My man Royce the 5'9" be rapping.
Royce is crazy. Royce is super crazy.
Right, but you say that Fabulous is better than Andre 3000.
In my opinion, yes, Fabulous is better than Andre 3000.
I was gonna say, just for fun, can we just go ahead and line them up?
Yeah, I would love something like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, but like, I feel like if you lined up Fabulous Andre 3000, I got my money on Fab. That's how I feel.
Word up! Yeah. I'm not about to hate on Fab.
That's how I feel.
But god damn, that boy from Atlanta is a monster. Reason. Come on, we love Fab. I love Fab. You know damn well 3 Stacks is
damn well. That's the thing. I don't.
Reason.
I've seen. Look. So I've seen records like what's that joint?
Fab is crazy. Respect to Fab.
He's out-rapped Wayne. If you can out-rap Wayne, you can out-rap Andre 3000. He's out-rapped Wayne on records. I don't think that if they do a 6 minutes of death type record, like, I'm not saying that it's easy for Fab, but I think if Fab came in there with the mindset of I want the best verse, I think Fab can out-rap Andre 3000 on that verse.
Reason you just got the best promotion for your next project because my friend, you just went viral. you just went viral. Tell us what your 2022 is coming up with, bro.
Man, yeah. So I'm working on another pack of records. I just dropped a pack of records in October. Trying to do that's been my new thing while I'm finishing the album. So I'm trying to drop another 4-pack. I'm trying to release a single, not like a single business wise, but just like a Lucy. In 2 weeks, and then follow up with the 4-pack, and then follow up with my album in like April. So I'm trying to be busy, do something that TDE standards is not normal. You know what I mean? But I just got a lot of music, and I'm trying to just get as much of it out there. But I'm really excited about this upcoming album. This is like the album I've been working on for like the last 3.5 years. Like I'll work on it, take breaks, and then go do new beginnings, and then work on it, and then take a break and go do this EP, and then work. You know what I mean? So I've been working on this album literally since before I got signed to the label. You know what I mean? Had this idea, concept, everything, and I'm at the tail end of it. I'm just looking for like the records that can live on the playlist and different things like that. So
gonna be a big year for TDE?
It's gonna be a huge year for TDE, and I know that like artists have said that before, but COVID kind of threw up. But it's scary over here, bro. I'm not even in no type of way exaggerating. Like it's going to be a very, very big year. I think this will be one of them years that people already say it, that we're the best rap label out, but I think this is going to be like, you don't have to, like, fans don't have to argue for us. Like the proof is going to be laid out. You know what I mean? And because we know Dot is leaving, but this album is still under TDE. So I don't want niggas trying to count this out. Like, you know how niggas do. And niggas are trying to say that ain't no TDE album. Like, don't do that. Nigga, like, but like this bomb is still ours. You feel me? Like, so yeah. So, that alone by itself with Dot, speaks volumes, and we pretty much are slated for almost everybody else to drop also. You know what I mean?
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a good tease.
Yeah.
No, I have no more. I've loved having you on the podcast. I love somebody who speaks their mind and is not afraid of what people are going to say. That's exactly how I am.
They'll kill me and get over it, and we'll come back.
I'll defend you in the comments.
Hey, listen, seriously. Everybody know it that listen to hip hop that got is one of the best rappers on the planet right now. Got some crazy hip hop takes, but West Coast guys always do. My man Glasses Malone, shout out Glasses. Glasses once told me that 444 wasn't a hip hop album. Glasses once told me West Coast dudes different. These got the best barbershop talks out here. Glasses say all kinds of Glasses will hit me up like, bruh. Glasses. Tell me when you think Jay-Z went pop. I'm like, Glasses, I want to have this conversation with you. I'm not like, I want to have this conversation with you. All right, my man. Thank you for coming on the podcast, bro. We really enjoyed having you. Want to come have you back around the time you about to drop, and want to talk to you about having my company direct one of your videos. So hit me up. Good to talk to you, my G.
Right, my dog. Appreciate y'all.
Okay. I got great news for you, Rach. We got some new public servants coming. Okay. Some of the people that stormed the Capitol. Today is January 6th.
This is taking
a year ago today, we were watching as America was in peril, as someone took a big jar of mayonnaise and spilled it all over the Capitol. This is Hellman's Best. Hellman's Best running down the sides of the Capitol. And by the way, I went to D.C. like last year. The Capitol is huge, man. I didn't realize it was that big. Yes. The Capitol is huge, so that took a lot, even to get up those stairs. I'm like, God damn, they had some
lot of them.
Yeah, white rage is very, it makes you athletic. But 57 people who played a role in the events on January 6th of last year. It seems fucking weird that was a whole year ago.
I know.
That's nuts. Are now running for office. Okay. Doug Mastrano, Pennsylvania State Senator, the leading voice in the national movement to discredit the 2020 election results. There's a lot of people that are doing it. At least 57 individuals are now running for elected office. What does this say to you? What do you think this means, if anything? And do you think that their proximity to what happened on January 6th will hurt them as they run for office?
Absolutely not. Because 11 of the January 6th protesters were elected into office after the January 6th protests or riot of last year. We've already seen it happen for 11. Those 57 probably watching that gave them even more confidence that this was something that they could do. And what they did is accept it. And do I think will hurt them with the Republican constituents? No, because as we all remember, we were watching it. We saw it in live time happening, and it felt like it wasn't even of this country, of this world. As we were watching, it's like, that's happening in our country, in the United States of America. If there was going to be a time when things were going to be bipartisan and we were going to come together because we love our country and we stand for democracy, that was the time to do it. And we did see people have a voice and speak out and condemn what happened, but that quickly changed. And we saw Republicans double down on what was done. They weren't calling it a riot. They were watering it down. What we all saw, what we were all scared and enraged and whatever emotion you might have felt watching that. Instead, they gathered together to fight against the Democrats and to stand in what happened. So why would this hurt them with their Republican Party? The Republicans who lead this country align themselves with that behavior. Loved it, doubled down on it, stood beside it. And so, of course, these people feel like they can run and win because
they're going to win.
Run and win. Yes.
How about, they going to win. I've seen some rumblings over there in Republiland of people like Dan Crenshaw calling out Marjorie Taylor Greene. I've seen other people. I saw a guy on CNN trying to distance himself away from Trump and a potential 2024 election. I've seen little movements of people trying to distance himself from what happened on January 6th. A little bit, but it's not nearly enough. They are still playing ball with the insurrectionists. Think about that. Your Republican Party, the party of Kemp, the party of Dole, the party of Reagan, the party of Nixon, those Republicans, that Republican, all of these guys, all of these America First, whatever, the George W. Bush will bomb the shit out of you party because it's America First. They're on the side of people who attacked the government. God damn it. These last couple of years have been a fucking doozy. These, like, look, even the Black Lives Matter kids, they didn't even have it in them to go up there and run it up in the Capitol. We fucked up Target.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, we fucked up fucking Staples.
Did you see Dick Cheney?
What did Dick Cheney say?
He said he was up there today, because they were talking about January 6th, and he was with his daughter, and they interviewed him and asked him what he thought about it. He said, this doesn't look anything like it did 10 years ago. So he's on the side of his daughter.
Yeah, and that's
I'm not here to promote Dick Cheney at all.
Say,
but for Dick Cheney, as evil
Darth
as that man
Vader
is,
himself, that's
he's
fucking
like,
Darth Vader
we weren't
himself
like this
saying 10
years ago. So if as dark as he is, he's saying these folks out here are darker.
See, that's why America. This is crazy. America has always been afraid of the wrong people. Yeah, we got out there and we had some civil disobedience. What did it cost you? A couple of fucking printers. You know what I mean? Like, what happened out there? Like, yeah, they burned some swords out. They did some bad stuff. Yeah, sure. Well, bad depending on how you look at it. Civil disobedience is sometimes necessary to get. I don't think it was bad at all. Whatever. I'll be honest with you. These people stormed the Capitol. They took on the American seat of power. Insurrectionists, traitors. All led by President Trump, but you guys are playing footsie with them. Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. The question now becomes whether or not you can get the train back on the tracks.
It's off.
It's off the tracks.
Not even close. It's so derailed. It's about to crash. We
Right.
are slowly, if these 57 people are elected, we are slowly watching the country turn.
I don't think
These
it's that
people
slow.
are okay, well, fine. These people are stepping into power to make decisions, to change the way things are run in this country. We're already seeing it. And if you're familiar with anything with The Handmaid's Tale, remember, before they knew it, they saw stuff change. And the next thing they knew, they were living in Gilead.
I'll be honest with you. I just need to know when Handmaid Land is coming. Because I'm not trying to live in Gilead. I'll be in Canada so fucking quick. Gilead sucks, bro. I'm going to keep it real with
Do
you.
you watch the show?
Yeah. Like, look, let me tell you what watching Handmaid's Tale is like. It's like, I've said this before, it's like showing up at one place at one time and letting somebody pull your fingernails off for an hour. It's like the hardest thing to watch. It's like, hey, you know what? Life's not bad enough. Come kick me in the nuts for 35, 45 minutes. So they never win. You got the black dude, the like her ex-husband up there going through it, and Gilead, no one's having fun. It looks like the men are having fun.
The commanders are when they're at the brothel.
Sometimes,
they're having a good old time.
Sometimes, but then they gotta keep it a little too tucked. Gilead doesn't look very much fun at all. I don't want to live in Gilead. Seriously.
No, I don't either. But that's what happened. Nobody realized it was happening. Oh, it's not that serious. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. Next thing you know, women aren't allowed to go to work anymore.
What's her face? The commander's wife. She was a part of it.
She was a part of it. She was the leader until they put her in her place.
Yeah, she was the Uncle Tom of women. And then after she became the uncle, she was the commander's wife is the Uncle Tom of women. She really is. That's why she got it. She got it. Yeah, it's very crazy. All right. New York City mayor. Let me tell you something. I like this nigga.
No. He gotta get it together. He's gotta get it together.
No, y'all wrong. Y'all wrong. Y'all don't want to have fun. That's y'all problem. Y'all like this nigga. Eric Adams. I wasn't very familiar with him when he was running, but I like him. This motherfucker here is crazy. Like this. There's not. He is. This motherfucker here is crazy. So there's no cure for COVID. There's no real cure for COVID, but he is proposing one. Swag. He's
and dressed in it. Did you see him? Did you see him with the sweatshirt on?
Yeah, with the whole thing.
COVID
He's
and
like,
testing, spray painted all up.
the whole, he
splatter
got swag. Like, look, fuck it, man. Cough with some swag, man. Respiratory depression with some swag. He said this. He had a press conference and he was giving a pep talk to New York. He said, when a mayor has swagger, city has swagger. We've allowed people to beat us down so much that all we did was wallow in COVID. That's all we did, and we no longer believed. This is a city of swagger. This is a city of resiliency. And all these messages out there of what is going to happen, we're going to survive. Hey, look, on its face, that doesn't seem that bad. But
he kept going.
He did. Oh, you want me to go to the low-skilled workers thing?
Well, yeah, because, I mean, if you stop there, yeah, it doesn't sound as bad. I mean, listen, it's like he thought if he kept saying swagger enough times, COVID would disappear. Or if you click your heels together and say swagger 3 times, it'll magically disappear. That's how he was talking. It's a little problematic. Problematic.
It's not a little problematic. This is what it is. You ever see I Am Legend? Like, imagine it as a comedy. That's what Eric Adams wants. Imagine that Robert Neville is actually Alexander Hitchens. And he's turning around and he's talking to the camera and he's giving you the rules and he's doing all of that stuff. Hey, yeah, that's what he wants you guys to do. He wants you guys to swagger through COVID. As everyone is coughing, he wants you to swagger. That's not all he said, though. This motherfucker is out here. This guy has only been in office weeks. This motherfucker is out here. Look, there's a lot of people who listen to this podcast that are probably working their way up. Trudy will never fuck with you, but they're probably working their way up through different types of jobs. Eric Adams wants to make life simpler for you because you can't understand shit. Run the audio.
If my businesses are sharing with their employees, you are part of the ecosystem of this city. My low-skilled workers, my cooks, my dishwashers, my messengers, my shoe shine people, those who work in Dunkin' Donuts, they don't have the academic skills to sit in a corner office. They need this. We are in this together.
You dumb fucks. You stupid bastards. You don't have the academic skills to sit in the corner office. You know what you do? Fry some fucking chicken. Eric Adams got it. He's on the job. He says, look, take care of shit because we got a bunch of nincom fucking poops who are out there. Actually, everybody he's talking about, right? Look, cooks, dishwashers, messengers, shoe shine people, those who work at Dunkin' Donuts. All right. So every single group were the people that kept us going during the pandemic.
Right.
We should shine their waxy ball sacks. We should kiss their fucking asses. Every single group, the cooks, the dishwashers, the messengers, all of these people, the Amazon delivery drivers, all of these people kept us going during COVID. And Eric Adams said, fuck them. They don't have the skills to sit in the corner office. So look, I'm watching this guy. I love this guy already.
For fun? You're watching him for kicks.
10.
You're watching him for
10
kicks.
out of 10. President.
Okay.
That's what we need.
That's
what we need.
We
Nope,
need Eric.
I swear to God.
We need Eric to slow down. Go
I
ahead.
want him to run for president. This is the kind of, I'll tell you why. This is the type of motherfuckers that people want. I'll be honest with you. He is the perfect. Obama was the perfect president. Obama would get up there and talk about this. Not this guy. This guy's going to get up there. He's kind of like Blump. He's Black Trump. He's Black Trump. He loves cops and shitting on people. He's Trump.
Is he not a former cop?
Yeah, he's a former cop.
Okay. He's a former cop. Listen, all jokes aside, the generalization that people with, quote, low skill jobs can't have a corner office. First of all, it's a huge contradiction because he then talks about how he was a cook and a dishwasher. And I'm pretty sure he's got his own office right now. So it's just the dumbest thing. He's not off to a good start. It's funny to laugh at, but it's so demoralizing, and it perpetuates this elitist mentality that as if to not value our essential workers. And then when did we start calling them low-skilled workers? Like, it's so gross. And AOC had the best response to it because she worked in a restaurant. She had a great tweet that she said, the suggestion that any job is low skill is a myth perpetuated by wealthy interests to justify inhumane working conditions, little to no health care, and low wages. She herself worked at a restaurant, and I'm pretty sure now she has a corner office. So listen, he's not off to a great start. Now, is he making headlines? Is he making news? We're going to need him to do better, or maybe he doesn't need to step up to the microphone so much because he's feeling himself just a little too much.
I don't know if AOC has a corner office. She probably has a regular office.
Well, she has an office. Building. Listen, it's the point. The point is that she's got an office.
He said corner, though.
I'm sorry. She has an office, and she is a New York congresswoman. Basically, his line of thinking is if you work in restaurants, you don't get those kind of jobs.
I hate to be this guy, but technically, until her office is on the corner, then he's right. Okay, so whatever.
Okay.
Let me tell you something about. Let me tell you something about Eric.
Nobody
Adams.
pay attention to Van on this topic.
Let me tell you something about Eric Adams. All that shit that AOC said, man. Any person that has feeling in their heart, we know that. All right, Eric Adams is so wild to me that as cops fuck up all over the fucking country, that we got a cop telling us what a low-skill job is. As cops fuck up all over the country, cops don't know the difference between a gun and a taser. Cops don't know how to read people their rights. Cops don't know when to not pit maneuver a fucking woman who's pregnant. The cops going nuts everywhere. And you got I wonder where they getting these guys from. Like Slappy's detective school. I wonder where they getting these dudes from. The cops, for a police guy to tell us what a low-skill job is, all the cops do is fuck up.
How about the call out of Dunkin' Donuts? If I'm Dunkin' Donuts, I'm so mad. I'm so mad. Our shoes shining, blah, blah, blah. Dunkin' Donuts. What?
If you Dunkin', you got to turn
Donuts,
that.
I'm having a fit.
But I'm going to be honest with you. If I was running Dunkin' right now, I would make a whole fucking ad campaign around it. I would take what the mayor said, I would put it in a commercial, and then I would make it like it was a Dunkin' Donuts Donut Scientist Academy where kids have to sit around and learn how to make donuts almost with like chemistry or something. I would make every single thing at Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, I would take every single thing you have to do at Dunkin' Donuts. I'd have them taking coffee and pouring it into a beaker, swinging the beaker around, testing it, doing all of that stuff. It'd be a good ad campaign. But see, the thing is, I'm too fucking talented to fucking deal with Eric Adams. I should be doing commercials for Dunkin' Donuts. I love him. All right, I'm going to read you some names real quick. Just real quick. Okay. Commanders, Admirals, Armada, Brigades, Sentinels, Defenders, Red Hawks, Presidents. Which name should the Washington football team change their name to?
The Washington football team.
Really?
I don't like any of them. I get visuals that I'm not comfortable with. And when I hear like Commanders and Admirals and stuff like that.
Commander's racist as fuck.
Do you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? You get a visual. There's something that pops up in your head.
Also,
Washington football team.
Commanders is bad because of Handmaid's Tale.
And there you go.
Do you want to be called Commander? I'll tell you why. I like Sentinel. Do you know why?
Why?
Because of the X-Men.
Okay. And
a Sentinel is a big... Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me get this out. A Sentinel is a big mutant-killing robot. That's what it is.
Is this in the comic book or the movies?
Both.
Is it in the movies? Okay, I don't remember.
It's in the movies. I think the name of the movie is X-Men Days of Future Past. They got Sentinels in the movie. Thank you very much.
Maybe that's the one I haven't seen.
Yeah. And so they're big mutant. And I think that they should use the Sentinels, but it should be those Sentinels. They should use the Sentinels from the comic books.
Okay.
And also in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Sentinel is one of the most powerful characters. Probably the most powerful character. So I think they should go with Sentinel. Whatever. You don't even care about. It's a big part of my life. You can give less than this shit. You don't care. You just go your whole day.
I do ads for Ringerverse. What are you talking about?
You do go your whole day with no comic book shit. How could that be?
I was literally just talking about this today at work. You're going to get so upset. I was doing a read, and I was talking about movies that Tessa Thompson is in. And I was like, you may know her from Creed or Westworld or Thor. And then I stopped and I was like, what is that? Ragnarok? Is that his last? And I was like, is that his last name?
No, it's not.
And well, I know that now. Somebody explained it to me. And I said,
what
no,
is
here's
it?
the problem.
What is it?
No, I know it's not his last name because that's what I said. But they were like, that's the name of the movie. And I said, this is my problem with the MCU. When you explain stuff, I'm like, gosh, that sounds so captivating, so interesting. But there's so much to it that I'll never be able to catch up. So why would I ever start? Every time I turn a corner, I'm learning about something new. Thor, Ragnarok? What?
Ragnarok.
Whatever, Van.
So here's the thing. Ragnarok actually... Hold on, real quick. Hold on. Ragnarok, they didn't make up Ragnarok. Ragnarok actually comes from Norse mythology, which is the death of all the gods, right? So there's a cycle they have all the gods, Odin, Thor, Loki, all of these. And then the Ragnarok comes, that's a big war, death of all the gods. This Ragnarok right here is the end of Asgard as foretold by a bunch of different prophecies. You know what I mean? Surtur comes through, stabs his thing in the heart of Asgard, his sword in the heart of Asgard. Asgard destroys. The Asgardians have to leave, have a new place.
It's like Greek
Ragnarok
mythology.
is unstoppable.
It's too much.
Do you know what I'm into now? Before we get to this next topic, which is very important, I'm into Matrix mythology.
Wait, outside the movies, there's a whole thing, or you're just into the Matrix?
Yep. Really? Outside the movie, there's, guess what? I want to do a whole podcast with you where I convince you. Have you seen The Matrix?
The first one.
The machines are right. The humans are bad in The Matrix.
Is that what happens in this last one, the fourth one, or
nope.
This is your theory?
Nope. If you look at it in its totality, Neo, Trinity, Morpheus, all the humans are actually the villains of The Matrix. The machines are right. And the machines are right in almost everything that they're doing.
Okay. I will tell you, because there are only 4 movies, and this is something I can easily do, I will go through and watch every single one of them. And I will give you your pod on that.
Oh!
I will give that to you. I will download the movies. I will start over. I will watch them in depth, in detail. And I will come back equipped to have a podcast with you.
Done. Just to let you know, The Matrix Revolutions is fucking terrible, but good on you. Good on you. Okay. The one more topic before we get to mailbag. The Los Angeles Unified School District has cut its police budget, speaking of cops, directing the money towards the $36.5 million Black Student Achievement Plan. So this, in a sense, is kind of like a defunding the police type of deal.
Yes.
And this is what we're doing. Defund the police, take that money, put it into the Black Student Achievement Program. Mm-hmm. This provide funds to 53 schools with at least 100 Black students enrolled with high need indicators. The BSAP has a plan to help Black students succeed within their environment and reduce suspensions or other disciplinary methods by working with community groups. Rachel, your thoughts?
I mean, one, this could be the unexpected ally of the week, but I love this because this is, and I'd love to track this and to see what happens with this, because you talk about defunding the police, but this is more than just chanting it. This is actually putting action behind that statement. You're targeting a need. You've identified it. Now you are defunding the police to take those funds and invest them into this need, invest them into the community, make these students better. You're giving these students a sense of hope as well. And the other thing I love about this is that they're also saying that they're protecting their students by removing the police, because the police have a history of being more aggressive and a little bit more dangerous to these group of students. So they're protecting their students, but then they're investing in them at the same time. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. So I think we need to talk a little bit less about defunding the police and more about what we're actually funding. So I think that's a way to shift this narrative. Like, obviously, we're defunding police departments, but we need to talk about what is getting funded. Now, tell me right now, if I'm looking at you in the face as a politician, and I ask you this question, Do you have a problem with giving the black students of LA $36.5 million?
Exactly.
Do you have an issue with that?
They would say no. They would say no.
They say no. All right. Well, that means we got to take it from the police budget.
Wait.
You know what I mean?
Wait. You can't find that money somewhere else? That's what they would say.
No, we can't. We looked. Now,
Can you
what,
give them
nigga?
half?
You know what, nigga? Can you find it somewhere else?
Can
know
you
what
give
I'm
them
saying?
half? Do they
No,
need 36?
We looked. Guess what we decided? We decided the cops don't need tanks. How about that? We decided the cops don't need laser rifles. Okay, that's what we decided. We decided the cops don't need a fighter jet or robot police or fucking Ferraris with the cops. You know, y'all need no Dodge Chargers. The fucking the fucking whatever you guys got, what do you call them bitches? The Chryslers, whatever, they work just fine.
The Crown Victorias.
The Crown Vic, that go for it. You know what I mean? All right, let's get to mailbag now. Mailbag time. Time to read your letters and then we'll reply to them. Oh, it's mailbag time. Write us with your queries and we'll chime in.
All right. Aaliyah.Maggie wants to know, what is a social/cultural discourse that needs to stay in 2021?
I think we just had it right there.
Yeah, defund the police. Also, people's names that remind us of singers who we used to love. Yeah. To, I don't know, Aaliyah, Maggie. It's like, kind of, you get excited, but then you get bummed out.
Okay, stop. A beautiful name. Beautiful name.
It's a beautiful name,
Maggie.
but sometimes I was like, you just made me think of it. I moved on past it, but I love you, Aaliyah. Both of you. Next question.
It's Hannah_Stewart asks, if you could be leader of any country, which would you choose and why?
So what I would want to do is take a DNA test and find out what country I have the highest percentage of, and that's the country that I would want to lead. I want to go back to my roots somewhere in Africa and lead that country. Right.
Yeah. Sell out. I want to be the president. I'll tell you straight up.
Of this country?
Fuck yeah. Would be the wildest 4 years. I'll sell out. I don't care. People call me a sellout. You expect me to pick somewhere else? No. I want to be the president. If I gotta choose, would be the wildest 4 years ever. I literally might make it to August of my first term before they impeach me. I'm tearing
more wild
everything.
than Trump.
Well, the executive orders are going to be crazy. When I tell you they're going to be crazy, the first thing I'm doing if I'm the president is I'm going to get people in a bunch of room, and I'm going to get a bunch of people in the room, the smartest people, not just in my cabinet, not just in the smartest people from everywhere, the smartest economists, the smartest scientists, the smartest fucking legislators, the smartest constitutional law professors. I'm going to ask them one question to everyone in this room. What is it in my power to do? Forget about what I can get negotiated. Forget about what can I do unilaterally? What can I do next week? What can I do 2 weeks from now? What can I do? What can I do unilaterally? What can I do? And they give me a list of things that I can do, and then we just gonna do them. I've been telling you, we just bruh, when I say we gonna do them, it's gonna be the holiday situation is gonna be so fucked. We're gonna have Bobby Brown Day.
No, make him stop.
No, it's gonna be so weird. We're gonna have Bobby Brown Day. We're gonna have Bobby and Whitney Day. Everybody gets off work for Bobby and Whitney Day. All kinds of crazy shit. All of the other stuff, federal elections, all of that stuff. But also, I'm just gonna get up there, hit corporate America hard. Hey, Amazon, how you doing? Boom. 60% tax rate. Fuck it. Move then.
It's a fan. You're too much. Too much.
All right. Next question.
Too much.
HP Hartel. Would Van and Rachel be in each other's top 8 if we still had MySpace?
Yep.
No.
For me, yeah. Damn.
No, you would be in mine. I wouldn't be in Van's.
She would definitely be in mine. Because my top 8 was only used to torture people.
think I had a top 8. I know I had MySpace, but I wasn't into it.
I had the crew, and then there was like 3 other spots, and then bitches would like rotate. But I would have Rachel just there because that would just be another person that people would like bitch about. He's like, I've been knowing you. How you got her in the top 8? Man, I'll be honest with you. She brings more to my life than you do.
Don't put me in that.
They should bring top 8 back.
On like which platform?
Fucking great question. Probably would have to be Instagram, right? Nah, not Instagram. Well, I don't know.
Twitter.
Twitter top 8 would be good.
Twitter
Top 8 would be good. And you also can tell a lot of people from their top 8. You're going in, they got Candace Owens in their top 8, and then you're like, get out of here.
And there you go.
Last question. Let's go.
Okay. TK495. Sounds like a Star Wars character. Ask what's one thing from your childhood you wish you never found out was a lie?
We had that question before. Something like
Did
that.
we?
Yeah, like it was a form of it. That you wish you hadn't found out was a lie?
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
All right, fine. Fuck it. Last one. All right, that's enough for mailbag. It is over. We got end of the year awards now. Rachel, do you want to do them or
no? Because I didn't do all of them. I did it when it was. You go through them. Go through them, and I'll.
All right, so these are the end of the year's awards. Me and Rachel are gonna freestyle these because this is really a Trudy thing.
This is Trudy wants it.
Trudy only cares about this.
And it is a good topic, Trudy. Let me support Trudy. It's a good thing to do.
Why you gotta do that when you know you don't agree? Trudy is a big girl.
The
Trudy
original one she wanted us to do, I did.
Trudy has gone to war with the entire internet. She don't need your help, man. Trudy. All right, best TV show of the year or a season of TV show.
Oh my gosh, I gotta go with Snowfall.
Oh, interesting.
Good. I'm all in. I'm all in on the show. I think people are really big on us doing a little recap when it starts
Snowfall.
in February.
Definitely will.
Snowfall, hands down.
I agree. It's very tough for me between Snowfall, I'd say though, and one of the MCU shows. Okay. So it's Snowfall or Loki. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know why I'm capping. It's Hawkeye for me. Like,
Hawkeye's the one?
Yeah, Hawkeye. Fuck it.
Hawkeye over Loki, over WandaVision.
I liked it.
Okay.
I like what I like. How about that? Best album of the year. What'd you think?
Jasmine Sullivan, Hotels.
That's definitely the answer. But my answer is Moneybag Yo.
Oh, really?
Gangsta Spain. Moneybag Yo be doing this fucking thing, bro.
I like Moneybag Yo. That's not what I thought you'd say. Man, if you ever listen to Jasmine Sullivan, Hotels,
it's great.
So good. And every woman can connect to what she's not just singing about, but the stories from the women in between. Ooh, that's the one.
Right. Yeah. Ally of the year.
Does that exist?
So I got one.
Oh, well, you go first.
Jolly Good Ginger on Instagram. This is a guy who seems countrier than a motherfucker, but what he really is a good old-fashioned ally. He is white, but he calls out the inconsistencies and the discrepancies in white supremacist actions all the time. And I believe, unlike some who do it, always love my man Sam White too, but unlike some who do it for the clout, I believe he does it for the culture. So Jolly Good Ginger.
That's
love
so
that guy.
good. I've seen him before. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm going to steal him. Let's just have one for the podcast. Let's go with him.
Okay. He's Ally of the Year. Class Clown, biggest goofy of the year to you. There's only one answer.
Who?
Fucking Soulja Boy. Like what?
That's your class clown?
Soulja Boy is the class clown of the year. I love watching Soulja, but that nigga funny. Like he the class clown of the year to me. Soulja had a big year too. Big year.
I don't know. There's a lot of clowns though. Like, does a clown have to mean you're funny, or like could you just be a clown, right? Like the baby was clowning. this year? You know what I mean?
No,
What's
we want to give it to the baby. If you think all of that shit is funny, that's on you.
No. Like he's a clown is what I was going with, not funny.
Okay. Public servant of the year.
I like our man that we had on, Michael Tubbs.
Mike Tubbs, MT.
I like him.
So I'm going to give somebody that wasn't technically in 2021, but was held over from 2020. Stacey Abrams.
Great.
I'm gonna go with Stacey. I'm gonna go with Stacey Abrams. Technically, it's 2020, but really 2021 is.
Oh, she announced she's running for governor this year, so she's still down. Yeah.
Best viral moment or challenge of the year.
Well, the crates.
Oh shit, that's easy. That's right. The crates.
It just came to me. We said challenge. I'm like that. Everybody was crating.
The crates are the kind of thing that our ancestors look down on us and they just go. And they look down on us and they go, really? We gave them all this freedom and look what they doing with it.
Look what they did with it.
We thought these niggas was gonna climb mountains and they climbing some fucking crates. They're like looking, and by the way, it doesn't take much to impress the ancestors. Think about it. People always talk about this. Think about this. People always say like, Gabby Douglas, Simone Biles, hey, they won 8, 9 gold medals or whatever. It's like the ancestors are looking down, smiling. The ancestors look down and smile way, way easier than you winning an Olympic gold medal. Remember, they couldn't fucking do anything. You get up and you put your own shoes on and you walk to the bus stop, they up there fucking crying.
Well,
like, look at her fucking go.
And pick the seat that you want.
The seat that you want. You get in your car, you drive your own shit. They like, look at them go. Best author or audio or book of 2021. The best author of 2021 to me is Peniel Joseph.
Oh, yeah. I saw you post something the other day.
Read a lot of Peniel Joseph. His new book, The Third Reconstruction, is coming out pretty soon. If you guys want to learn about who you are as blacks, Peniel Joseph is an absolutely brilliant man, and I love him. I reread The Sword and the Shield. I read some of his other books. I read his Stokely Carmichael book. I read his book on the civil rights era as a whole. He has completely reshaped my thoughts and my feelings on the entire Black Power movement and its place in American history. Peniel Joseph is amazing.
And he works where?
He works in Texas. So what?
Mine is carrying over into 2021. It's Cast, The Origins of Our Discontent. It's by Isabel Wilkerson. I didn't read it till 2021.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. The 1619 Project is also a book now. You guys should check that out. Shout out to Nicole Hannah Jones.
Actually, that's the book that I just bought.
You just bought that? Let me see it.
1619
Project.
It's
you know what you like? You should.
It's gonna take a while, but it's like essays.
You know what I like about that book is the book is so big and the title is so big on the book. You really use that to like trigger people. Like when you go back to Texas.
Oh, I'll be doing it on the plane. I get on the plane tomorrow.
1619 Project. Hey, go to different places. Go to like a country bar, and like read it. Shout out to country
we
music.
think the same way.
We do. All right, that is enough podcast for today. Big podcast, big podcast today. I am Van Lathan Jr. In case you guys didn't know.
And I'm Rachel Lindsay.
We're done. Bye.